Broken Neck Radio.
Hello, fans and listeners of Broken Neck Radio. This is DJ Zang here. I have a very extreme pleasure of having two gentlemen with me. You know them as Herman and Sam. They are from the band Dragonforce. How are you guys doing?
We're great. How are you doing?
Doing very well. Thanks for asking. Really excited about the new album. Personally, I've already given it a good listen, probably 2 or 3 times, and I'm really excited for when the listeners are going to get their chance to indulge themselves on the new album. So we'll get right into things, because I know you guys are super busy with promoting the new album coming out, and so I'll get right to it. So individually, guys, Herman and Sam, which band would you say introduced you to the heavier side of things?
I guess probably not very original answer, but Iron Maiden. That's I think I was about 15 or something. I just heard that at my mate's house at school, and I was like, when you're young, you kind of just working out what you're gonna like, what music you kind of like, and I heard that, I was like, wow, this is really good. I've got to get more of that, and that was kind of started from there, I suppose.
That's when I first heard Bon Jovi in Europe, actually. This is a long time ago, and I just heard, I remember there was guitar solos, and there was in Europe, and Bon Jovi. I thought, wow, this stuff sounds really cool. I didn't even know what electric guitar was, but I really liked it, and that kind of got me into rock. The first thing that kind of got me into it.
And what age was that? We all obviously start listening to the music that our parents introduced us to, but what age did you guys start noticing your music taste starting to switch a little bit to the heavier side?
Yeah, I was 15.
I was 11. I think I basically never, before that at that time I was living in France, so before that I was in Hong Kong, and I just didn't like any of the pop music they had there. I always thought, I hated music. I thought it was just stupid and horrible. Actually, until I heard rock, I go, wow, this is cool. I like this.
Now, both of you guys are just amazing, amazing guitarists. Now, were you guys both self-taught or professionally trained?
Well, I actually did classical lessons when I was 10 years old, and I didn't really want to. My parents were like, "Oh, you got to do sports or learn an instrument." So I was like, "Well, I suppose I'm pretty lazy, so instrument's probably easier." And then so I was playing that, and then once I got into like metal and rock and stuff, when I was 15, then I just started playing metal songs on my acoustic guitar, and then I saved up some money to get electric ones, kind of took it from there, and then I kind of taught myself the electric stuff.
Yeah, I started playing guitar when I was 16, so I just taught myself, or I just learned from watching live videos, or watching I guess instructional guitar videos and reading books. Really, that's how I learned the whole thing.
Now, speaking of solos, can you guys both share with the listeners how your solos are written? Are they something that has developed over time, or is it just something you guys just just let it flow naturally?
We both, Sam and I, we both do with very different method of the way we approach the guitar playing. I myself, I like to improvise my solos, and I like that because it gives myself an element of surprise when I improvise. I don't really know what's going to happen. I just play, and hopefully it sounds good.
Yeah, and then I'm pretty much the opposite. If I improvise, I find that it's extremely boring, because I kind of stick to the things that I know that's going to sound all right without making a mistake. So if I want to make something cool and new, I have to kind of work it all out slowly, and then so that's kind of how that works.
Now, the new album is out August 19th in North America. It's called Maximum Overload, so make sure you pick that up. How did you guys come up with that name? Was it a group thing, or did just one person come up with the name?
So the story on that is, we're thinking about names, and every time we think of an album name, we usually write a bunch of different words on the back of one of my books, which is one of my kind of booklet, which we use for logging the album, recording what we've done, what we haven't done, and then we just write a bunch of, at the back we just write a bunch of words, and usually I just use some old school books. I mean, these school books, I have them for long time. They I don't know, I just ripped out a few pages that was used, and I just keep them to use as a log. And Fred picked one of them up. It says Maximum Overload on top. So I wrote over my school books when I was young. You write Megadeth, Metallica, write names over your school books. And it says Maximum Overload. He asked me what that was. I said, oh, that's one of my old bands. And that's how it came. He said, why don't we use that for album title? And since after 1 week we still thought it wasn't stupid, so we kept it.
Yeah, we said, we'll give it a week, and if we decided it's dumb, then we'll like think of a new one. But yeah, no one could think of a new one, and we didn't think it was too bad. So
if it's the music, we do our music is always over the top, maximum overload. That's how it's actually describing the whole all the songs to what we do.
Now, you guys recorded this album in different locations over a 6 month period. Is that a new way you guys are doing albums, and is that something you're going to continue to do, for future albums?
I mean, the main part was done in Sweden with the producer Jens Borgren, and we done some in London. We did some little bit of singing at our singer's place in Oxford. So actually in a few different locations, or in France for a little bit, just to mix things up a bit. So one of the weird locations we had was I recorded 2 guitar solos on Zoltan Bathory from Five Finger Death Punch on his yacht at sea. So the guitar solo to The Game and the song City of Gold, they were done at sea off the coast of Los Angeles. So that was fun. That was he had some crazy idea. We should take the yacht out and do it while we're just in the sea.
That's Now the new album also has a guest on it, and that's of course Mr. Matt Heafy from Trivium. How did getting him on the album come up? And they're a pretty busy band. Was it hard for him to land the time to be able to come in and do those guest vocals?
Yeah, well, actually, we kind of didn't really want to ask him because of that exact reason. We were like, he's probably got like a week off tour. Like, the last thing he's going to want to do is like do some singing for our album. So, so we didn't want to ask him. And then then Fred goes, I don't care, I'll just ask him. And Fred just asked him, and he was like, yeah, he was happy to do it. Well, he pretended to be, at least. No, he was like, so it was cool, like, and we just kind of thought, well, like, all our albums, we've always had, like, the kind of rough vocals on them as well, like, kind of underneath the lead vocals in certain parts where we think it will make the song better. So we had a few songs on this album, we were like, this could do with some, like, kind of rough vocals, too. So instead of, like, doing them ourselves, what we usually do, or we get one of our friends to do it, we said, let's get someone that's like a professional at this kind of thing. And we do kind of known Matt for years, and like we'd done some tours with him, and we just thought he was a good choice because we'd seen him quite recently, and he was just kind of the first one that came to mind. And he can do some melodic singing, and we can do like the harsh singing, and he gave us. We told him what we wanted, and he even sent us a bunch more stuff that we didn't even ask for, which was kind of cool.
It was what he done. It was really cool. If you didn't hear the rest of the instrument, you just soloed his voice, just doing it. That is just so awesome by itself. So I made a joke that I wanted to have it as a ringtone on my phone. Actually, just Matt going, yeah.
Now, tell the listeners some of the band's influences, both metal and non-metal, because I find that when the listeners know, when a band reveals to the listeners some of their non-metal influences, it kind of sort of adds a little bit more element of surprise, and it also adds, people just usually go, okay, well that makes sense.
Well, I guess for me, like I can't without listing every single band I like. I guess everything I've ever listened to pretty much comes into like most genres of metal, rock. I like a lot of punk music, even pop punk music. I like a lot of that stuff. Even some pop music. I think there's some good melodies in a lot of pop songs as well. From throughout the years, even not even necessarily new pop music. And that pretty much covers it. I'm not really into jazz or classical or rap or anything like that. So it's kind of, and obviously, I really like electronic music, actually. Like, I've always thought, like, soundtracks on video games, right back to sort of early, 80s, 90s have got some really good tunes on there, too. So that's kind of like, everything I've ever listened to fits into those categories, I guess. Yeah,
I guess pretty similar, except I'm not really into punk or pop punk or stuff like that, but I like a lot of progressive metal stuff, like Dream Theater, Symphony X. Those are the bands that I grew up, when I was learning to play learning to play the guitar. That's what I used to listen to. So all the great guitar players, instrumental guys like Steve Vai, Joe Satriani, Tony McAlpine. You name it. I love the Shrapnel Records guitar albums a lot. So that's kind of we take, I guess, influence from all those everything we mentioned there.
Have you guys ever had a time where you guys heard something on the radio, or you heard something and it whatever it was triggered you to pick up your guitar and start trying to fire off some riffs?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I hear stuff all the time. It might be even on a commercial on TV or anywhere, and you just get the sort of things that start you off. It might even just be the rhythm of a song, or anything. There's so many things that can start you off that get you started on something. So yeah, definitely.
Now you guys are going to be starting you'll be starting your tour for the new album cycle soon. Is there anything you'll be bringing along for it that you haven't on previous album cycle tours?
Bringing along? What do you mean by that?
Well, is there anything you're going to be doing differently that, like, for example, the way your stage show is going to be, is that going to change at all for this cycle?
Yeah,
as to your previous ones?
Yeah, we have a new stage show we're actually working on, which would be really cool. Actually, I can't really say what it's going to be. But
yep. But, we love mystery.
Yeah, we'll be in line with the album cover and the concept of the cover, the artwork and things like that. So we got that, and of course, apart from playing the new songs, we're going to play some old songs that we haven't played for ages, that we actually have to completely remember. I mean, some songs have been played for like 10 years, I think. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, back to playing guitar. Just a quick question for both of you. What's the longest solo you've each played?
I guess they're usually about the same. Look, there's a pretty standard length for our solos, actually, to be honest. I suppose End of Valley of the Dam maybe is your longest one.
That's probably my longest one because it's not 200 beats per minute.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's one on the on our new record. One of the bonus tracks is called what's that song called? Power and Glory. I think that's got a pretty long solo. We do rather than doing 4 short solos each, we do one kind of long one each. And I actually think they're some of my favourite solos on their album. Actually, those two. So yeah, there you go.
Perfect. Now you guys have been all over the world. What, of course, is your favorite festival to be a part of?
Sam, what's your favourite festival?
There's kind of so many. They're all kind of cool things about a lot of them. I don't know. I mean, I guess I can't even think of one that particularly stands out. I went to a really cool one actually the other day. One of the few we actually haven't played at. It was up in it was called Hammerfest. That was really cool. England. It was the reason I liked it was because I just went there not even playing, and it was really awesome. It was in a holiday camp kind of thing. So you didn't even have to sleep in a tent. You had all these nice cabins, and you could just get it was a pretty small thing. It was only about, I don't know, it must have been 2,000-3,000 people, and it was so everyone was just a big massive party because it was slightly smaller. By the end of it, you kind of knew so many people, and everyone would be in there each other's cabin drinking, and it was just really good laugh. It was like a holiday camp, but it was turned into metal. Yeah,
I think my favorite festival I've been also is one that I wasn't playing because it's no stress. It was Firefest in England, in Nottingham. I saw Harum Scarum there for the first time, and I really like that band. And it's mainly kind of AOR kind of melodic rock bands, and
it had a really good atmosphere. Everyone was all happy.
Everyone's happy, having a good time. There's no misery or anything. It's all kind of good, uplifting.
All the music's really uplifting. Yeah.
Well, the bands, they're hard line. I mean, a lot of these old bands that you don't usually get to see on tour. So that was really cool. Really, really cool.
Now, my next question actually is it's a newer one I've kind of pulled up here. And it's something I think the listeners would really like to get to know about Dragonforce is, what are your rehearsals generally like? Do you have a set time each week which the band practices, or are you guys more spontaneous?
When it comes to rehearsing, we usually rehearse before a tour and also recording an album. So before a tour, we would do a month solid rehearsals. I mean, we talk about every single day. And maybe that's what we did in the last tour. And this tour, we're going to split that month into 2 sections. So we get a little break in between, and we just play through all the songs, work on the stage show, work on, individually with the solos as well. We got to, make sure everything is perfect. So it's pretty brutal.
Now, you guys have toured and shared the stage with many, many, many artists. Is there anybody living or dead, past or present, who you have not shared the stage with that you would have loved to have?
I don't know. I guess like I don't really mind if we share the stage with people or just go and see them. In some ways, I'd prefer to like not share the stage with them and just go see them. You don't have to worry about anything. You know, like so like. I think, to be honest, we really have kind of like either played with or at least played a festival with everyone I can even ever was into. Really.
Yeah, I pretty much played guitar. I played on stage with my favorite guitar players since they were like my heroes when I was young. So I've done those like Steve Vai, Satriani. I played with those guys, so I'm kind of happy. I can die happy.
Yeah, I mean we've been pretty lucky, I guess. I mean, like we played with Iron Maiden like quite a few times now. And, that would have been. If someone told me that I was going to do that when I was 15, I'd be like, no way, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So we kind of done. We definitely don't take it for granted. We've pretty much done it all, which is really cool.
Now, my final question actually is for all our guitar-playing listeners out there. Is there any, each of you guys have a sort of like an exercise you do before going on stage to help keep your fingers, intact for playing?
No, I just sort of kind of start playing through some songs, really. Like, I haven't really got any particular exercises. I usually try to go through the difficult parts, I guess. I'll run through I'll basically, before the gig, I'll play all of the solos from each song we're playing. We're doing 12 songs. I'll just run through all the solos, because that's the kind of thing that I usually, if I'm going to mess up anything, it'll probably be that rather than the chords. So, I just kind of go over them quickly just so it's less chance of making a mistake.
Yeah, exercises, I don't do any either. The reason is exercises can be a little bit, non-melodic and too much on the physical part. So I like to improvise. I like to improvise over, music I like to hear. So sometimes I'll just put on an album that I love and I just jam along with it, play along, and that kind of make you think of music, get your brain a musical warm-up. So you're thinking of music and you can control the guitar, the melodies, and the timing. So I like to improvise for like an hour before we even play the first song.
All right, well, this is the time where I pass the mic over to you guys and give you the opportunity to say to the listeners, give them a message of what they're going to expect when the album comes out and for the tour that will follow thereafter. Go ahead, guys.
Well, I guess like for the album, if anyone that's like a fan of the band already, I can personally guarantee that you'll definitely like this album, because it's like it's kind of more of the same, but with a whole part of new stuff added as well. Yeah. So we haven't lost anything that you would have liked before. I can say to people that might have liked us and then got sick of us, then this is probably going to be your chance to like it again, because it's like definitely a lot of cool new stuff in there. And people didn't like us ever, they probably still won't.
So I'll say what Sam said exactly, but in a simple way. It's Dragonforce with more, better than before, and added stuff. So it's really hard for us to describe music. We like to joke around with it, but music, it's kind of a complex thing. But hey, we will be touring in the U.S., Canada. So I know that we've been working a lot of Canadian shows at the moment. Hopefully we get those announced, and we'll be coming with another band, another great band actually too. So this is going to be a really, really awesome bill. So look forward to seeing them again. Canada always been good to Dragonforce. Every time we've been there, and, we look forward to coming back.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Okay, thanks guys. I'm here with Herman and Sam, both guitarists from Dragonforce. Thanks guys for taking the time for chatting with us.
No problem.
Thanks for having us.